Hello and welcome to my third episode of Adobe Illustrator for Beginners, and in this particular video we are going to look at how to use the Pathfinder tool in Adobe Illustrator. Let's get started. The first thing you like to do is to open up Adobe Illustrator, and in case you are new here, please consider subscribing so that you can continue to receive this very easy to follow tutorial on Adobe Illustrator for graphic design. Use the Pathfinder tool to create custom shapes in Adobe Illustrator, and let me illustrate how this path tool is used. So I'll navigate to Window and scroll until I find the tool I'm looking for. This is the Pathfinder tool. In case you already know the shortcuts, it's Shift, Control plus F9. And this is the tool, and you can move it, basically move it where you want it to be. Let me create some shape. I'll navigate to the shape tool and I'll select an ellipse tool. I'll proceed to create a circle by holding Shift and Alt at the same time. I have a circle, I'll give it some color. I've created this circle, and to duplicate I'll just select it using the selection tool and then hold Shift and Alt and drag to the direction that I want it to be. So I want these circles to be intertwined. I'll release once I'm satisfied. Now I have duplicated my circle, so I'll probably give it another color to distinguish between the two. If you want to use the Pathfinder tool, you'll select your shapes, and they don't have to be two, they can be many. And then the very first function that we have here is to unite. So basically, if you want to, you'd like to unite these two shapes, you select them and select the first option here, you click it once, and now as you can see, this has become one shape with the same features and characteristics. And now you can even change the color, and as you can tell, it's no longer two separate circles, it's one compound shape. Let me undo that by holding Ctrl and Z several times until I'm back to the steps I started at. So the second function of the Pathfinder here is to minus. So basically it's saying you are going to minus the front facing shape. Okay, so if I select and click these ones, you'll see what is going to happen. Alright, so I now have a circle which is not complete. And again, this is now a custom shape, it's no longer a circle. So I can undo, and as you can see, on the left side which was beaten out, or which has been cut by the circle that is in front. So basically this one will remove the front part. So if I was to proceed and make this left circle to be in front, see what happens. Select that. Now the other circle has changed, and it's no longer a circle, it's a different shape altogether. I'll proceed and undo. So we proceed to the third function, which is basically, this function tells the two shapes, okay, wherever you guys are joining each other, that is the only part I want to see. So if you click it once, you can see the intersection of the two shapes is what I've been left with. Alright, and I can do that, I can undo that, I can probably drag this and holding Shift and Alt to duplicate. Alright, I can move it around just to illustrate this third function. I can give it a separate color. Alright, so what the third function here is intersection. It's saying wherever these shapes intersect, I want to remain with that part. See what happens. Alright, so for the three shapes that I had, okay, they are intersecting. This point is where they are intersecting from, and when you click this command, you are saying I want to be left with a particular area where these three shapes or whatever number of shapes you have are intersecting. Right, so I'll proceed and undo. Okay, so we proceed to the fourth command and let's see what happens. Okay, saying exclude overlapping areas. All right, see what happens. Okay, wherever these three shapes are overlapping, you don't want that, you don't want to remain with that, you want that to be excluded. Okay, and that's why you have seen these white spaces. This is where the three shapes are overlapping, and that has been excluded. So probably undo that. Okay, so basically those were the shape modes of the Pathfinder tool. Right, so we can proceed to another command of the Pathfinder. If I select this option, it's going to divide my shapes. I want you to see what happens. Right, you may imagine nothing has happened, but actually what has happened is that these shapes has now been divided into various parts. And to illustrate, I'll ungroup and select any part that I'm interested with and move it away. Alright, okay, this is what has happened to my three circles. Now they are different parts, and that's what divide, that is how the divide command in the Pathfinder tool does. And now that we have seen some of the uses of the Pathfinder tool and how to use it in Adobe Illustrator, let's create an example. Let's create a logo using this trick. So I'll proceed to my shape tool, and I'll again create an ellipse tool. Hold shift and add so that it's a perfect circle. Alright, my circle, I'll probably need to give it some color, so I'll double click here and give it any color that I want. Alright, I want to duplicate this. You can select it, then hold Ctrl plus C and then Ctrl plus V to paste. Alright, alternatively you can select it, drag while holding Shift and Alt, and the reason we are holding Shift is so that it can move in a linear or a straight line. See what happens if I don't hold Shift. It's not moving on a straight line, it can move on any direction. Alright, but because I want to duplicate it in a straight line, I'll hold and drag using Shift and Alt to copy. Okay, now I have my two circles. I'll give these a different color. So I would like to create a logo using the two. So just come with me and see what I'm trying to do. Alright, so once I have my two shapes near each other, I'll select all of them and proceed to the Pathfinder tool. I don't want to unite, I want to remove the middle part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select exclude. Okay, and as you can see now, I have excluded. This now is one shape, but I don't want it to be one shape, so I'll select it. I click and say ungroup. Now each is a separate part. I'll drag it, I'll select it and move it wherever I want. Alright, now if you are creative, you can play around with it. Depending on how creative you are, you can stretch your creativity and come up with something. Okay, so just trying to play with it. Okay, right, so I can select them again, and now I probably want to join them into one. Now I have one shape. I can proceed and create. I have no idea what I'm creating. I'm basically illustrating how to use the Pathfinder. Right, so I can create another ellipse tool. Okay, alright, and now that I have this particular shape, I am probably convinced at that time, or I'm satisfied with the shape I want. I select and group them, and now I have a shape. Alright, so now because it's just a simple logo, I can proceed and introduce a text to make it a complete logo. So I'll navigate to the text tool. Remember, the shortcut for the text tool is to hit T, or to select T on your keyboard, and the text tool will be activated. Right, so it's the font size is too small, so I like to increase it. Okay, so I can select and then replace it with the text that I want. So this looks like an NGO sort of a thing, so I'll say child protect. Okay, now I'll scale my font. Okay, if I want to align this to ensure everything is aligned, I can select it, move to window, and look for align. You can also hit shift plus F7 to activate the align tool, and then I'll proceed and align my text. I'll select my shape as well and align it. Then I can manually use the left arrow key to move my shape. Alright, okay, so then I can move this one manually if I wish. Okay, I probably would want to change that font, so if you are a logo designer, you probably can do a better job, but anyway, for me, I'm just here to illustrate the use of the Pathfinder tool in this particular shape, or in this particular tutorial. So okay, let me see how that looks like. Okay, it's the same font, only that I've varied the weight. So what do you think? Does this look like a logo you'd want to use for this kind of a thing? I can group it if I'm convinced. I can scale it a bit down. I probably should move this. Okay, and as you can tell now, I group everything. If I want to duplicate, I'll select it, drag, hold shift and alt. Can as well do the same. Can even move this side if I wish. So okay, and guys, can remove my Pathfinder tool here. I have a logo which I can actually use, and it doesn't look professional, but at least it's a quick logo that you can create. But it all started when we learned how to use the Pathfinder tool to prepare a custom shape. This custom shape has been made possible by using the Pathfinder tool, though there are other ways you can use or other methods you can use depending on how you learned it. But if you're just getting started, I believe this should be enough to help you learn how to use the shape builder tool, the Pathfinder tool in Adobe Illustrator. In our next episode, we are going to learn how to use a similar tool to quicken or to fasten how we achieve the same results. But I believe it's very important, and that tool is called the shape builder tool. It functions almost the same with the Pathfinder tool, only that the shape builder tool is more advanced. I'll be showing you how to use it in the next episode. So guys, that's it for today's episode. We have learned how to use the Pathfinder tool in Adobe Illustrator. Let me know if you have some questions. I'll be very happy to clarify. If you loved this video or if you learned something from this video, please let me know. Hit the subscribe button, comment, like and share to enable me to continue making easy to follow tutorials like this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.